So I never played a Battlefield game before, but the idea of playing an FPS that emphasizes large-scale, high-octane battles was always alluring to me, and I always wanted more strategy and skill in my multiplayer FPSs. Like, I wanted to think more of my first-person shooter games instead of the mindless shooting that COD gave me in the past, but I didn't want the slow, sitting around tactical feel of a Rainbow Six Siege or a Ready or Not. So when the Battlefield 6 beta got announced, I thought to try it because why not? I had nothing to lose. I mean, I'm currently in a multiplayer FPS drought. Like, COD is more focused on selling us skins of irrelevant characters and celebrities rather than making a decent game. Splitgate 2 self-combusted, Apex is Apex, and Valorant is full of racist. And I had to come to terms with the fact that the genre that I once held dear to my heart, I might be falling out of love with. But I hoped that Battlefield 6 could be that light in the darkness, that it could be the FPS game that I always dreamed of. And as my first Battlefield game, I was actually really surprised at how much I enjoyed it. EA might actually have them one, so grab your juice boxes, grab your snacks, because today I want to give my thoughts on the beta as a non-Battlefield player and assess whether or not I think Battlefield is worthy of my $70. Is Battlefield going to be a cop, or is it not? Before we get deep into the video, I just want to say, please feel free to leave your opinion or your take in the comments at the end of the video, because I truly want to have an open conversation about the game. And I'm really trying to build a community where we can all conversate about our favorite media without having any weird biases or hate, and we should all feel free to express our opinions. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to discuss the Battlefield 6 beta experience from log on to log off. I'll explain how each part of the game works, while also providing my opinion, adding and deducting imaginary points from an imaginary number as we go along. There's not going to be an overall rating at the end or anything like that. This is going to be imaginary points and imaginary numbers. None of this is going to matter. To my surprise, the game booted up and logged me in super fast. Even when I was in the tens of thousands in the player wait queue, I loaded in within minutes. A beta releasing with a decent netcode? Oh my god, a man could cry. But then I got flashbanged with this ugly ass menu. I'm so tired of first person shooters having no real characters to the menu. Like, we got the default soldier model with a squad behind him with the same looking around animation that every first person shooter has, with the Netflix cards at the bottom. And can I just say, at least on console, these cards were abysmal to navigate and control. Sometimes it would scroll past the selection I want, or would just not scroll at all. Then when you go into the settings menu, you're met with a clunky mess. It's overstimulating and you're met with the redundant options, and it just needs to be cleaned up. What was also weird is that when you click back on the settings menu, it doesn't take you to the main part of the settings menu, it takes you back to the main menu. So then you gotta navigate all the way back to the settings menu to get back to the setting that you wanted to actually change. This is nasty. I don't understand, out of all the game genres, first person shooters have the most basic and most repetitive menus. First person games suffer from the boring, overly manly style. Like, we got to make sure everything is bland and just looks like shit because, you know, colors for wusses and shit. And what, you fucking like blue and like red? What, you fucking wuss? You fucking sissy? It's just so fucking weird to me. What was y'all's favorite first person shooter menu? It's off topic, but just drop that in the comments below. If you don't completely understand why I feel this way, a Reddit user gave their concept on how they would design a Battlefield menu and give their own take. And it's crazy how, like, night and day, how much more readable this fan-made Battlefield 6 menu is versus the menu that was made by a multi-million-dollar company. So in the beta, we got the chance to play 6 game modes: Conquest, Breakthrough, Domination, King of the Hill, Rush, and Squad Deathmatch, with the most popular during the beta being Conquest, Breakthrough, and Rush. Classic Battlefield modes. If you don't know what they are, in Conquest, 2 teams fight to control multiple key objectives spread across the map. Holding more objectives steadily drain the opposing team's lives, and the match ends when one team's lives hit 0. In Breakthrough, you play as either the attacking team or the defending team. Attackers work to secure sectors and push the defenders back, while the defenders fight to hold the points and drain the attackers' limited lives. In Rush, a team of attackers and defenders battle for control over a series of points. Attackers have to plant bombs at each point and prevent the defenders from defusing them before they detonate. When all the points are destroyed, the fight moves to the next sector, opening up the map. The match ends when all the defenders' points are destroyed or the attackers run out of lives. Each mode had you squad up with 3 other players, allowing you to pick between 4 classes: the Assault, the Engineer, the Support, and the Recon. Each class has a unique ability and kit that is useful and needed in their own way. For example, the Engineer is able to repair friendly tanks, and also comes with a tertiary rocket launcher to destroy enemy vehicles, while the Assault class allows you to inject heroin into your veins to allow you to boost your sprint speed and reduce explosive damage, turning you into a walking powerhouse, while they also can carry 2 primary weapons. So my first match in the game went, well, needless to say, I was ass. I was doo-doo. I was getting straight bullied, lost every gunfight, tanks running me over GTA style. I'm getting sniped anytime I breathe, ran up on and assassinated in most disrespectful ways. Like, if you saw my performance, you would think I never played a video game in my life. But I loved it. Being subjected to playing COD and other brain rot FPS games for so long, I forgot how much I loved thinking before I committed to an action. I was so used to running into battle and spraying, and let me just say, if you're going into Battlefield thinking you can just drop 30 without your teammates or without a plan, you're in for a rude awakening. Battlefield does not reward that bunny ass hopping playstyle like COD does. To succeed in this game, you really have to work with your squad and you have to listen to callouts, don't split up too much, and carefully consider what fights you should be engaging in. Running solo will definitely not help your KD ratio, nor will it help your team score. This game really rewards team play, and the game is just way more fun when you and your friends successfully coordinate an attack at a point, clearing it out with ease and efficiency just like you planned it. It also punishes running in by yourself, not just by giving you a disadvantage in gunfights, but how you move throughout the game in general. For example, let's say you run the assault class and you go in guns blazing and you do win a couple gunfights, get a couple kills. But what are you going to do when you run out of ammo and there's no support to supply you with some, and you see 5 more enemies coming over the horizon? You're cooked. This is completely different from COD or a lot of other FPS games who say, hey, you have to work together, teamwork is key. Whole time, there really is no mechanic that counters solo play, and everyone works for themselves. This was a huge plus for me. I actually felt like I was part of a team, and not just my immediate squad, but I felt like I was actually working with my other teammates, not just beside them as well. Another plus for me is how much I like the class system. It doesn't do anything crazy, but I did like that the primary weapons were not locked to certain classes. I do know that the Battlefield community was split on this decision, but to me, even though that the game allows you to swap certain weapons between classes, I always felt like each class had something different to offer, as they distinguish themselves with different abilities and weapon affinities. Have fun spotting and picking off enemies without a recon on your team. Or imagine being pinned down by an enemy tank and you see your engineer in shining armor with a rocket launcher to save the day. I had to learn the hard way, but once I learned how to coordinate with my team and got a grasp of the gun mechanics by playing King of the Hill, a smaller scaled mode, I went from getting 0 kills to doing pretty alright. The gunplay also felt really smooth in itself. Every gun felt different to me and they all felt really good and fun to use. But the time to death was off to me, which if you did not know is different from time to kill. I shoot the enemy, that's time to kill. The enemy shooting at me, that's time to death. In the beta, the time to kill felt fine for the most part. I don't think I was killing an enemy crazy fast or crazy slow, but when I was getting shot at, it felt like they required less bullets to kill me. This is a problem that has been reported by a lot of players, and DICE did say that they were looking into it. People are speculating this is more of like a netcode issue, so we will see if they can fix it by the time this game comes out. In Battlefield 6, when you're down, you cannot crawl, but an enemy also can't finish you off either. Instead, when you're down, a teammate can drag you to safety while picking you up, or if you have a support on your team, they can use the defibrillator to instantly pick you up. It's such a small gameplay mechanic, but I loved it. It completely changed how I've played this game versus other FPS games, and it just felt really epic, dragging your friend to safety while there's just an enemy fire just surrounding you. It felt like I was in a movie. It's definitely a huge plus for me. The game is faster than some of the other Battlefields in the series, and I did see some of the community split on the increased speed and mobility, but I really like it. It doesn't overdo the speed, but it also doesn't make it so slow and grounded to where you feel so heavy like you just ate a whole 3 meals worth at a cheap Chinese buffet. That's a plus for me. I'm kind of hesitant to give this a negative, but I did not like any of the maps in this beta, like at all. I did like some maps more than others, of course, but I definitely hated some maps as well. Some maps didn't feel like it fit the game that I was playing and just left me with a more infuriating than fun experience. For example, playing Rush on Liberation Peak was a nightmare. You spawn in and immediately get 10 sniper lights aimed at you. A lot of people online felt the same way about the maps, and the devs said that they used smaller maps to prove that these maps would give you the Battlefield feel. And while I want to believe that the other larger scope maps that you have access to in the full release will be better, you really should have put in one larger map just in case so you can prove to us that these larger maps are good as well. Also, a lot of these maps felt like it was directing you to where you should go rather than allowing you to create your own path or explore. That was a negative for me. Speaking of maps, I was really let down by the destruction in this game. Battlefield 6 advertised something that they called tactical destruction. One of them corporate mumbo jumbo words that really don't mean anything. In short terms, you'll be able to blow shit up. In their own words, you will have countless ways to transform the environment. The game was basically advertised to have not only a crazy amount of destruction, but I thought it would be super unique and a prevalent game mechanic that would change the way a battle feels or change the tides of the match. But it was nothing like that at all. Like, it is chaotic and fun when a building does collapse on you and your squad, but the way it happens is just so bland and it doesn't leave a lasting impact on me. Like, I get over the novelty of something destroying very quickly because it never is unique and it's always repetitive. This is because the destruction is heavily scripted in Battlefield 6 versus, let's say, the Finals, a game that was created by ex-DICE employees that used more dynamic physics. YouTuber RG's Online, hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, created an amazing side-by-side which really illustrates the vast difference in how much creativity you have destruction-wise in the Finals versus Battlefield. The Finals doesn't just have more you can destroy, but a building would not always fall the same way one match versus another, making blowing shit up in the game feel fresh every time you do it. But in Battlefield, shit gets blown up within the first 10 minutes of the game and you're just playing the real map at this point. Like the layout of the destruction is always the same from game to game, there's no difference in it if that makes sense. Like it's so scripted that even shooting at a wall on one end would destroy a whole different part of the wall you're even aiming at. But I understand the technical limitations DICE faces because Battlefield is way more demanding to run and has 64 players in one match, while the Finals has 12 players in one match and is way easier to run with their cartoonish style approach, and it has the destruction server side, which is why they're able to pull something like this off. One thing that is a huge negative though is why is there so much shit on my screen? As someone who's diagnosed with ADHD, the in-game UI made me want to scream. The UI doesn't feel cohesive and puts way too much in your face at once. And then you pair that with the super extensive spotting system that they have in this game, which is when you look at an enemy, a red square appears over their head. It was super sensitive, like I could see people through clouds of smoke, they just have a red square on their head. I felt like I was cheating. But then there's this cluttering my screen with a bunch of red squares. It was so bad that I needed to take a breather between games, so I was just overstimulated. Also, I felt like there was a weird color grading in this game. Like, I don't know if it's because I had my PS5 plugged into my Elgato and that's how I was playing it, but I felt like it was too orange tinted sometimes, or yellow tinted, or blue tinted. It was just too weird sometimes, and I felt like some enemies were just blended into the map because I just could not see them because of the color, but they were also blended into the fucking paint splatter of a UI. It was a huge negative for me, and according to the discussions I saw online, people also did not like how the UI was at all. The UI from the menu to starting a game to being in the game to then leaving the game is a clunky mess and isn't responsive half the time. I have to basically enter a whole combo every match just to change my weapon loadout. I have to click on the weapon loadout selection, click on my class, then click on the gun, then click on the specific gun I was looking for, then click on customize, then click on modify, then click on the attachment type, then finally click on the attachment. This is noticeably bad when you're editing your guns in between deaths and you have to try to do it quickly to get back in the game, which is too many steps. I will say though, side note, I did like how you could go from editing your loadout to the firing range right from the edit loadout screen. That was really nice. But please fix your UI. It's terrible from the time you boot up the game to when you leave a match. It's ass. I will say though, I did not encounter a lot of bugs during the beta actually. The only bugs I did encounter, which did not happen often, was not being able to switch my weapons and not being able to ping things for my squad to see. Which actually happened all the time, the pinging problem. When I would ping something, they wouldn't be able to see it, and they would ping something, I wouldn't be able to see it. I did experience one super weird bug though, which is when my squad mate picked me up from the down position. Somehow we swapped classes, like they were an engineer and I was an assault, and he picked me up, and then for some reason his loadout changed and then my loadout changed. It was very fucking weird, a whole different class. I don't even know how that happened. Overall, I had a pretty streamlined experience playing this game. The game ran pretty smoothly. An EA game actually having a decent beta, that's actually insane to me. Like, I did not know EA had it in them. I was very surprised. I do think they can fix the bugs I brought up in the netcode issues, because they don't release this game till October and they seem to be very responsive. Like, they're having a lot of interviews and they're responding to people online and taking player opinion into consideration. So I actually think that they can make this game even better. To all my COD fans, this is different from Call of Duty open betas, where Call of Duty has an open beta the same month they release the game. You're playing the finished product, big bro. That was a sneak peek of the ass. It's so crazy to me that Call of Duty got away with that for so long, of just releasing open betas the same month that they released the game. They weren't planning on fixing anything. I need COD players to wake up and stop buying COD games. It's so ass. I've been asked since like Black Ops 3. Stop buying COD games, please. Now for the big question, will I buy this game at a $70 full price? This game doesn't do anything too different. It's a classic shooter, but it does it super well. Like, I think the devs realize that they don't need to reinvent the wheel every time, but they just need to make a really good game. And that's what I think this can be. The game is fun, and it got more fun as I got used to playing it. And I definitely would recommend this game to people who are looking for a more serious game than COD, like I was. But I probably won't be buying this game at launch, for 3 reasons. 1, while the game is pretty optimized right now and has potential to have an even smoother experience, this is EA we're talking about, and I would never ever pre-order an EA game or buy an EA game at launch. I would never trust them. 2, the game is $70, and while I personally did have fun playing the game, it was not that fun playing by myself, and I would probably only play with friends, but I'm an adult, and sticking up your free time with friends could be a difficult task, and I don't want to spend $70 on a game I might only play 2 or 3 times a month. But if this game does have an amazing story mode like they're hyping it up to be, then that might sway me actually. But we also have other games I need to spend my money on that month as well, like Ghost of Yotei and Ninja Gaiden. And I think those games have a lot more to offer me in terms of fun than Battlefield, me personally. But I really did truly enjoy this game, and I would love to potentially get more into tactical shooters. And I think Battlefield 6 is the middle ground I've been looking for. If you always want to get into Battlefield, I think you should definitely consider this. And from what I hear, if you're a diehard Battlefield fan, this game is definitely for you. But what do you guys think? Are you guys gonna purchase Battlefield day one, or are you guys not? You gotta wait a couple months to see what it's looking like. Did y'all like the beta, or did you not? Let me know. I want to talk to y'all. I want to see y'all's opinions in the comments. I want to have a conversation. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, please like, please comment, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.